Okay, I think we can get started. We have about 30 people on the call. But based on what I can see, it doesn't look like 30 people are introducing themselves. So first of all, we indulge anyone that can maybe put on their video to do that. That would be great. In the instance where you cannot, that's fine too. Secondly, I just have let's see, one, two, three. I can see Alaba Folami from Lagos State University, history. It's nice to see you here, Alaba. I'm a last year alumnus. I'm not sure if you know me. Um, it's been a while I graduated from that spout. Let's see, going to 5 years now. But yeah, it's nice to see you here. I can see Morris Solomon from Ajay Crowther University. You're welcome. I can see Kate from Babcock. I can see Tyree from Adebiyi University. Buna from Babcock, and yeah, you can see Alabi Mame from Lasso also. You can see Tumishi from Babcock. And yeah, so let's keep this going. You can see a lot of person on this call. So why are you guys not putting your name in the chat? Because this also will motivate us, right? As we want to initiate this conversation around policy shaping, policy writing, etc., etc. So still waiting on you guys. I have to get started in 2 minutes again straight of time. So please introduce yourself as much as you can. Thank you so much for keeping it coming. I don't know if the president of Babcock University is on this call, who is one of our hosts. I would like her to get us started by introducing herself, and also before I get started into the training, or any of the executive from Babcock University.
Good evening, house. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. Kenny. Good evening to all our participants. How is everyone doing? My name is Obadan Damlola. I'm a 300 level student, political science, Babcock University, and it's an honor to have each and every one of you here gracing this event of trying to impact people and trying to introduce to everyone how to make policy, what policies are about, and everything regarding and surrounding policies. I hope we all listen and make good use of every information and everything that is going to be dropped during this period. It's not a very lengthy program. So I would urge each and every one of us to just participate, show yourself, be yourself, put yourself out here. Let's know what you're made of, and just participate. Thank you very much. And thank you to Policy Shapers for giving us this stage. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining.
sorry, you guys can hear me now. Thank you so much for that nice introduction. Um, I would say that we can, I'll get started. And I promise today it's just gonna be like an hour or less. But tomorrow we are gonna get into more of training and facilities on how things work. And thank you. On how things work really. So my name is Kenny. Kehinde Adebiyi, but I'm mostly called Kenny, and I'm the policy advocacy lead of Policy Shapers. So you all are here today because you're interested in the Niger Policy Hackathon competition. And it's a very interesting competition that we established in 2022, I think. And we've been able to do a lot of incredible work over the years in this policy hackathon. So what I would say is that you all are in for a very fantastic experience beyond what you can envisage. Feel free to ask me any questions as I go ahead in the public in the presentations. You can just raise up your hand. And yeah, I think the president can just let me know when there's a question in the chats because I'm going to carry away with the presentation. So today is just to introduce us what the competition is all about, what are we expecting, and also introduce it a bit to the art of policy writing, not necessarily, but more of the format of how does a policy paper look like and what are we expecting. However, tomorrow you have two of our experts. The first person will be the founder of the organization, who is a very leading policy expert in the field, in the name of Ebenezer Wikina, that will come on board to help us to detail really, the research process of policy writing and how it goes. The second is you have Shinde. Shinde happens to be a national security fellow graduated from the US, also a very core expert in policy writing and a core team of policy shapers that will also take you through the strategic design of policy writing. And it's our hope that once you've gone through this process, you'll be able to then participate competitively. That is, you'll be excited by the whole process and come up with a good policy paper for this competition and also who knows emerge as the winner of the competition. So but the first thing I'd like to talk about is about policy shapers, who we are, what do we do, and how do we come about this partnership. Now we're a private company that's registered in Nigeria, and I'll say that I think we are the first young group that focus on public policy. The idea is very simple. We want to make public policy very cool for young people in Nigeria. So when you think of policy shapers or policy makers, you think of legislators, senators, House of Reps, CEOs of companies. You do not see yourself as someone in your hostel that can contribute actively to policy that will shape the nation or will shape the globe. And the answer is yes, you can. You can. I think my first policy paper was when I was an undergrad. I was opportune to participate in a Stanford University competition with some of the founding team. And our policy paper was accepted, helping to shape global policy. So the whole idea of policy shaper is we want to make policy making, policy shaping, policy writing mainstream for young people to know that your voice can be heard, your frustrations can be seen, the problem you are so passionate about, you can pen it down and influence change. And whenever you are in the world, you can be part of the process. You don't have to be the head of a corporation or graduate from a university before you can do that. And that's the whole purpose of why we as an organization exist. Now, but why should we make policy cool for people? About 62% of the Nigerian population are young people, less than 25%. So it means clearly if we are not involved in policy shaping, it means just about less than 30% of people are making policy that will affect us. So we are the presence in population minds, we're also the future. So should we choose not to get involved in it as young people today, it means we are not shaping our life presently go. But more importantly, we are putting our future at risk. We must know what we want. We must know how we want it to be done. And we must see what is not going well with us. So you're an institution, you're somebody that loves technology, you're someone that loves education, and you're seeing a lot of gaps, and you're just keeping quiet. Making people that cannot relate to your circumstances, to your dilemma sometimes, making them shape all of this. And these are some of the things we are currently working against. And I think that's really, really cool. The second is that of the voting population in Nigeria, over 71% of us are 18 to 35 years. So really, not only can we only make policy, we can also influence people that implement the policy for us. So as policy shapers that you guys are coming up to be, you understand why it matters to vote and why policy is one of the fundamental framework of who and how to vote. Not because of this person is cool or not because this person is giving us some stuff. And more importantly, 45% of Nigeria working population wish to migrate abroad in the next 5 years. This trend cannot continue. Why? Because most of our policy is not favoring us. I would say that I'm currently in the United States. I work as a doctoral researcher, but I try to come home quite often. But if I have my ways, I'll be in Nigeria permanently. I'm a scientist, beyond being a policy shaper. But because of the scientific policy landscape of the country is not favoring, and I've been doing my best to ensure that we shape it for the better, both for myself and future generations. But I cannot do it. Ebenezer cannot do it alone. The president of Babcock University cannot do it alone. We need everyone to come on board. And that is why I am very, very grateful for you guys that you choose to participate in this competition. I would say that it is less of the money, while there is monetary prize, first position 250,000. There's a lot of benefits involved, which I'm going to run you through. So, what have we done over the years? You may not know us, but we've led some very, very cool work. We provide public advisory to different institutions globally, including participating in, working with the government of Korea. Our first hackathon. So whatever you guys are doing now, we've done it before. It was in 2021, I think, where we won the COVID-19 policy hackathons, one of the top three. So myself, Ebenezer, Comfort, Shindy, Toby, all of which are the founding team of policy shapers. We're all friends that came together to participate in an hackathon. And when we won and see why this is important, then we founded Policy Shapers. So what you are doing today, nobody is just somewhere trying to make up rules for you. We've gone through the process, particularly at the highest level of competitions. So the second is that over the years, we've been able to be a major thought leaders. We've come across policy dialogues, with organizations like the Creative Commons, UNESCO, and the first Nigeria Policy Hackathon was in 2022 August, where we bring policy experts and policy enthusiasts rather over the country to participate competitively. And that was very cool. And this is the first time we're having the university edition of that, and we are so, so excited about it. So we've done some other work. One of our cool work is we led the reform of the IELTS campaign, saying that Nigerians can speak English and there's no need for us to write these exams. And even if we are writing it, there's no need for us to actually rewrite it when it expires. Based on our influence, close to about 40 universities have changed their policies globally. More importantly, also, we have over close to 80,000 people sign our petition, and the vice president of the country at the time, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, commented on our work. So we've also, we've been invited by the House of Assembly to help contribute to the JAM bill. And why does all of this matter? Is that like your experience here matters? The certificate you will get here after participating carries weight. It's coming from a trusted, registered organization and will help shape some of the trajectory of your career. And I truly hope that you're excited as we are. Our team, you see, I've been mentioning some names like Ebenezer, Shimdi. So Ebenezer here happens to be like our founder and our team lead. And every other person I found it. This is Shimdi, this is Comfort, this is Terry, Toby, and my humble self. Even though I look different here, this is a picture from I think 5 years ago. And we have quite experience. People have gone to different schools, graduates from Harvard, Indiana, Success, setting. All of us have international experiences. And we've been able to work with like the World Economic Forum, the UNESCO, Department of State, USAID, DCAF, name it. And you'll be opportunity to meet every one of these people as you proceed through the competition. And these are opportunities also to network with some of us. For some of you that maybe your career path may align with what we do. As I said, I'm a scientist. Iben is a major policy shaper. Terry is a development expert. Uh, Comfort works in food, agriculture. Shindi is a security fellow. And so, as your interests are shaping, you'll be able to see how well you can work with all of us. Now, these are some of the feedback we got from the hackathon that we did. In the previous hackathons, people has won and we've given them money. But let's go to why we are here today. About the Niger Policy Act, partnership with Babcock University. So before I move ahead, I want to be sure everyone is following me. So can you just let me know in the chat box that like, yeah, maybe a thumb up sign, something that everyone is following me, or whatever sign you want to make. If you have a question also about the organization, you can ask. Okay, I can see Afalami giving me a thumb up. Then you'll have person like, okay, I can see, okay, great. I can see somewhere the banjo resta. That's nice. Thank you so much. I can see some person dance. Okay, good. This is encouraging. So why are we here today? So Nigeria Policy Act is a weekend-long policy ideation, and this is not the competition. This is the boot camp before the competition. The competition is a weekend long. Like, it's called an hackathon because for like 2 days, you guys will be zeroed in on research and competition, making good research. And we are very opportune to see that the Political Science Students Association of Bangkok University reached out to us that they want to have the first ever university edition of Policy Hackathon. I am so proud of them. I've been working with them for the past couple of months, about 2, 3 months now, and they've been demotivated. And the good thing about these events is a hybrid event. The semi-finals, the quarterfinals are all virtual, and the finale will be physical, where the top five team competes in front of well-experienced judges and wide audience. You guys will be received well, treated well, and you're going to win some cool cash, right? You're going to win more money. So as you start thinking about this, the good thing about the team membership also is now that we have a group chat, you guys can start talking about what you are interested in. Tomorrow we are going to present the different tracks that we have for you guys. So you guys can start talking and start maybe looking at your team members. The person doesn't have to be from your university. You can have team members from other universities. And you come up with a name for yourself. So let's say, for example, you're interested in security challenge. You want to do a policy on security. So you want to find people in the group that maybe have the same interests as you do. And if you see you have some team members already, because there'll be a time when we are going to release a form for you guys to register your team. That'll be early next week. And you register the track you are participating in. But tomorrow you'll get more information about this. But there are different tracks like security, healthcare, education, transportation, etc., etc. So, but we'll give you more information on that tomorrow. So the theme for this is Youth as Catalyst for Nation Building and Political Transformation. We are very excited about this. Now, how will this competition look like? We're starting with the Policy Bootcamp, where and the idea is simple. You cannot participate in something you don't know. You want to compete, right? So you need to have a key idea on how this works. And today and tomorrow, we expose you about the framework of policy writing. How does a policy paper look like? What does it look like? What do you want to do? How does it go? And that is very, 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 very interesting. So I would say that you need to be here. If you are not here, try to see the recording. But tomorrow is so important where some of the tricks, some of the tricks that might make the winners of this competition to rematch will be seen tomorrow because you will get details into how do you research, how do you present your policy problem, what are the judges looking for, and you're going to get a good skill set. So while the competition is next week and the upper week, participating in this to me is your greatest trick to winning the competition. But even leave winning aside, you're going to live experience to it, renewed knowledge on how to write a policy, on how a policy paper should look like when you have an idea. So you're going to start with the policy bootcamp, which is the next 2 days. The next week, the final competition 3 days will be the Niger Policy Act, which are going to have the quarter, the semi-finals. Then the finale will happen, on campus at Bangkok University. Policy banter is interesting. You guys have a group chat now. Start discussing, start bantering. And the most important thing is, even after participating, whether you're a winner or not, we engage with you guys. I remember last year, or was it 2 years ago, we were able to sponsor some of the people on the group that participated, who the winners, to the National Assembly in Abuja. They were there, they contributed on the floor of the house, participated in policy shaping. So we have a large network. And I tell you, if you can be consistent, if you can engage, this can provide to you a life-changing opportunity. Especially those of you that are very interested in lines of policy, political science work, etc., etc. So as I said, in 2022, we have our first policy arc. 2023, we have our second policy arc. 2024, we intend to have a physical one, but we had a retreat instead. And actually, in 2025, the idea was to have a West African arc. But while this plan is still going on, Babcock University just came, can you guys partner with us? We want to organize this. And we're like, this is cool. We didn't even think of a university-wide hackathon. And as I said, kudos to the team for everyone bringing this. And this is where we are on this. So you can join the roadmap. The good thing is we are free to sign up to participate as a volunteer. I'll explain all of that processes after the competition. Now, I think I've been able to tell you who we are as an organization, what you should expect from the policy hackathon competition. But now we want to get into technical part of things again. So I'm going to pause here. If there's any question, if you guys have any comments, any reactions, drop it to the chat pause. And you can also unmute yourself if you have anything to say before we get into this. Anyone have anything to say? If you are just following me, can I get maybe reaction from the chat or something? I can see you guys. The only way I can know you are following me is oh, thank you so much. I can see Afolami saying they keep following somewhere in Taiwan with that. Great, great. It's encouraging. That's nice. Okay, cool. Another thing that can be helpful for you guys is in our previous competition, if you go to our YouTube, just search Policy Shapers on YouTube, really, you will see like we had some policy Saturday classes where you see learn from our policy hackathon experience, the mechanism of writing a policy brief, how to develop policy recommendations, team building and strategy. All of these things are there. And these can be some helpful resources for those of you that maybe need to just look up some of these. So just take note of that. Now, before the competition starts, we're going to provide something like this for you. Call it tip sheet next week. Where, let's say, for example, you're under the agriculture and food security. We'll let you know some problems that we think you guys can start thinking about. Or let's say you're interested in, let's say, the student loan program. That the problem you guys can start thinking about. And, but we'll provide all of this to you during the weekend after the policy bootcamp. Now, let's get into it. How does a policy memo look like, really? It's basically 5 points. You can make it like this or not. It's like you want to address it. You want to know who are you addressing this policy memo to. It needs to be addressed to someone. So let's say you're writing the policy shape on, artificial intelligence. I would expect you address that to maybe the Minister of Science Technology or the Minister of Technology and Data Communications. You put, let's say, from your name of your team members, the dates, and the title. So let's say you're targeting, the expansion of AI usage in non-developed nations or the access to technology, whatever it might be. Now, this executive summary is what we summarize everything in your policy brief. A quick nugget is this the last thing I expect anyone to write, because to get an executive summary, you must have done all your research, you must know what these other sections are. So I'll come back to this as the last thing I will explain. So what does background means? Like background and context. For background and context, there must be a reason why you think addressing this problem is important. So let's say, for example, you are looking at, the proliferation of artificial intelligence in Nigerian universities, right? Or the adoption of artificial intelligence in Nigerian universities. It was like, why is this necessary? So you must give some data points. One, in that globally, artificial intelligence is the way to go. It is the new order. And you can give a context that not in bringing artificial intelligence to the university curriculum or practices makes our graduates not globally competitive, And before we know it, we are going to lose the race of producing some of the best brains in Africa and also in the world. More importantly, Nigeria unfortunately is not well positioned to meet this ongoing race of artificial intelligence. Neither are we positioned in the technical capacity, or neither are we positioned even in the university capacity. Hence, it is imperative and highly important and urgent that there must be a policy framework that guides the adoption of artificial intelligence in the university system. So you see basically what I just did. I started with, and all this thing I just said, it's because I read a lot, right? But it's research. You have to do a lot of research. You have to come with data points. How many universities do we have in Nigeria? You know, what's the percentage of people that are technical literate, technological literate? How many percentage of people currently know about AI? You know, what is the projection of AI usage in the future? You want to put all your statistics there. Why does this matter? What is happening? You want to ensure that the person reading this in the background and context knows why, this is urgent. Wow, is this what is at stake? So basically, I look at it from the past, present, and the future implications of things. And that's how you're going to approach this segment. That is, why is this important? Why are we addressing this topic? If you are talking about food security, what is the data point? How many people are dying from food insecurity? What is the risk threat to the nation? Why is this important? Right? So you want your background to be guided with heavy research. And tomorrow you are going to learn from one of our best brains on how do you do this research. Your core part of policy writing is research. Tomorrow you will learn you can have primary data, secondary data. Primary data is the data you get yourself. Secondary data is, let's say you reach out to people, you look at already published work. So all of this you know tomorrow. But the most important thing is that when you're talking of background and context, you want to ensure that like we present a solid case why this problem is urgent and why this policy must be considered. Now you said that. Okay, now I know it's urgent. I agree with you, honest. Then based on your research, you must recommend solution, and that brings us to recommendations. What do you propose? Based on what you studied, based on your research, based on the global system you studied, based on the national system, what do you propose to these policymakers? We think that this should be done, that should be done. And this, I would argue, is the most important part. Because not only have you established the background framework of the problem, but you're also proposing recommendations, if that makes sense. So this is where you narrow in your key points, of what it looks like. And lastly, you want to end with an urgency statement. This is not usually long, but like after all of this is said, after I've shown you the background, after I can do this, it's important to know why this is urgent. And everything you want to write must not be more than 1,000 words. So, because imagine the Senate president wants to read your policy, or the governor of a country, or the minister. Do you want them to read 10 pages? So, 1,000 words is about 2 pages, I think, or 3 pages. That's why it has to be concise and short. And also, when we send the details of the competition to you, we will tell you all the rules and regulations. It must not be more than 1,000 words. The trick here is, even though you don't have words, use figures. You're allowed to use figures, use charts, because those doesn't count as words. So you can expand your pages and make the person also see the data. But let me show you an example of what I'm saying. I think I have an example here. So if you go to our website, policyshapers.wordpress.com, we should drop, you see so many examples of policy. This is one of our policy paper that we won at Stanford. And you can see this is the title, but this is online. So you see how open data can drive transparency, blah blah blah. So who did we address it to? We address it to the International Council for Open and Distance Education. From what? These are all the team members' name. You can see my name here. This is event. What is the date? Now, what's our title? Our open data can drive transformation in Russia University. Now, you see, we have a pretty quick summary, executive summary here. What is all about? What does policy, why is this important and why do we have to do this? The next thing you see is the background. Because we know we don't have words, so we played with data and presentation. Establish why this is important. You see all of these bar chart points here. The figures are well labeled. We analyze the data. We have some pictures. These are all research work that took us time. As you can see, these are all basic research. And you see the background is the most important part. where you establish why what you are doing is so important. So all of this is still part of the background. Then you then move on to the recommendations. So where are the recommendations? Sorry. Yeah, these are the proposed recommendations rather. So you see, number one, enrollment statistics to be visualized better. You can see, with bullets, what we are recommending and how it should be done. Like how we are recommending what we are recommending and how it should be done. And you can see, luckily, we also have a section for impact logic that, like, how should this be done, right? So again, there's no rule to it. Tomorrow you're going to get more training because these are not just statements, right? And this is the theory of change. We are going to get more training on how do you do this research, how do you do this design. But today is just to give you the overview of how a policy paper looks like and start thinking of when you want to submit your final submission in the initial phase of the competition that will let us know whether you get to the grand final, the quarter, the semi-final, and the grand final. These are going to look like. So, do anyone have any question at this point, concerns before I move on? Or is everyone following me? Hello? Is everyone following me? Is there a question, concerns? Yeah, we'll drop the link to this website to the chat, so don't worry about it. We'll drop it to the group chat. So is everyone following me? Again, I need you guys to interact with me. I can only see myself, right? So great. Thank you, Simon. It's good. Okay, so that's pretty much that for that. And so do you have any question? Is anyone with any question? Like before we move on? Any question? Okay, no question. Great. So let's go back to what we have. Okay, what's the motive of the policy writing? So when you mean motive of policy writing, are you asking what we did, or like generally the question of what's motive of policy writing? I can answer both. The reason why you want to write a policy is because you recognize a problem. So let's say you're participating in this competition and we're going to launch the track this weekend, right? And we're like, so there are 5 tracks. So the tracks is, let's say we have a track on technology, we have a track on, you know, food security. The motive is because there's a problem, really. There's a problem that needs to be solved. And you think that you can help propose how it can be solved. So you observe like political instability in Nigeria, or you talk about political, maybe it can be tricky to talk about, maybe godfatherism, because what kind of policy can we do to target that? But so let's look at more pragmatic problem like food insecurity. And you look at how the nation has been, people cannot afford to eat. A lot of places, what are the costs of food insecurity? So you look at everything and you are motivated to write a policy paper. So you want to establish a background, research on the causes. I would think of some of the causes of food insecurity as one. Economic power is lacking. People are not so having money. So it could be climate change. Agriculture is not yielding. Then it could be lack of technical skills. So you identify all this problem. But because you've done a lot of research, you then know you can propose how to solve it. Why? Because you've done a lot of research. You see places where it is working, countries where it is working, and how can we indigenize this solution? And you can then make policy recommendations. That, oh, the Nigerian government should do this. Blah, blah, blah. So the motive of policy writing is to solve a problem. Quite frankly, solve a problem. To recommend ways problems can be solved. And those recommendations came from deep, intense research. And you're helping policymakers sees this is urgent. And we think we should focus on this, and this is how we can do it. Now, they may not adopt all your recommendations, but you are steering them to start thinking about it. And they may adopt some of them, and that's a big win for you. Does that make sense? So that's a question. I hope I answer your question, Zakaria. If not, I'm happy to to explore more of that. Does anyone have any other question for me? So we can move on. Now, um, this might not be entirely correct. We're going to send you a better timeline, but by weekend we need you to register your team. So after the boot camp, well, I'll tell you what the team is in a second. You can go back to the slide. Um, the boot camp would be closed tomorrow. Then we are going to send some instruction to you on Saturday about how to register your team. So this deadline is not correct. Maybe you guys have to register your team on or before next Tuesday, but we'll let you know. And we'll see how we can support. We plan to support some people with data, maybe those that get to the semi-final, so you can make some money payments to buy data or something. But I'll let you know how that goes. So, but to go back to the team, for the person that asks about the team is used as catalyst for nation building and political transformation. However, we will let you know by Saturday or so the mail you're gonna get. What are the tracks that are available? Also tomorrow I'll present those tracks to you, so you can start thinking of which of them do you want to participate in. You need a minimum of 3 persons in the team, and I think maximum of 5. So start thinking of, so you can start chatting on the group. I think some of the track includes security. We have technology. I think we have transportation. I'm sure there is agriculture too. So anyone that interests you, start thinking of. As I said, your team member doesn't have to be from your university. It doesn't matter. So you guys start minimum of 3 members and maximum of 5 in a team. But we want our team to be registered on or before next Tuesday. We're going to release that from on Saturday morning. So, and that's pretty much it. I hope this is clear for everyone. So, for let me ask you a question. When you said sour, does that mean yes? Yeah. Okay, yes. Okay, great. I would say in the absence of no question. So, as I said, today is meant to be an hour. It's very fast. So yeah, you're choosing your team members yourself, and I'm going to explain this tomorrow. So let's say you have a track you're interested in, and maybe you ask, so you can start chatting on the group now, really. So we have the track of security, we have the track of how I can tell the Babcock team are going to send the track to you guys tonight on the group, so that you guys can start thinking about it, so you won't wait before tomorrow. So you can start talking on the group when you have the track. Oh, who is interested in this, blah blah blah. Once we identify the people, you guys create your own group chat. And start, obviously, you have to create a group chat for yourself, so you can start talking on what problem do you want to tackle. Because even though you're on the track of technology, you need to have a topic you want to tackle, right? A problem you want to tackle. You guys develop your topic. Who do you think you're sending it to? We're going to send all the templates and all of those things to you here. So you can, so, and you're choosing the team members yourself. We're not choosing that. It's pointless for us to do that. But we just assign people together that they may not be able to work together, or they are not interested in what we give them. So we'll let you guys do that yourself. Yeah. Well, people have any other question? Okay, great. So it looks like we are good. Um, as I said, today's just going to be an hour, but tomorrow, as I said, if you want to win this competition, if you want to learn, do not miss tomorrow for anything. Experts are coming to teach you how do you research policy, how do you craft a good background statement, how do you propose recommendations from research, you know, and quite frankly, that's what the judges are looking for. So I'll be pretty much it, and I would leave it up to the president again to give us a closing remark. But it's nice talking to all of you. I'll come back tomorrow with more detailed instructions on the team, the process of the competition, and what we are going to move most forward. But it's nice talking to you all, and I'm way excited. I'm way excited to be with you. You know.
Um,
Yeah, you can go ahead. Damilola, your network is gone. We cannot hear you, Damilola. I'm not sure if it's on your hands.
I like to give the closing remarks, sir. All right.
Can you
So,
repeat yourself?
good evening, everyone. Once again, thank you. Thank you so much for joining. Sorry, can you hear me now? Is it better? Is it better
Yeah, I think so. It's
now?
yeah, I think so. I think so.
So sorry, everyone, about the poor network. I think we'll try to make this better by tomorrow and our next meeting. So thank you everyone for joining in tonight. Thank
Thank you so
you
much,
for
Jessica. Thank you, Dami.
taking out of your
I think that'll be it. I'll see you guys.
time
We'll,
to make
yeah, the network is a bit cranky, but yeah, I'll see
the
you guys and
world
we'll talk better tomorrow. And yeah, take care of yourself, everyone. Have a wonderful night.